right, so today we have the pleasure of talking with Babita Patel, humanitarian, photographer, and general awesome person. So yeah, we saw your prints and we thought they were great, and then you came in and you told us a little about the story behind them, what it was all about, and we found out that it was much more than just really well taken photographs. There's actually a really interesting story behind it. Do you want to tell us a little about what's going on here?
So last summer I started a photography workshop that would help disadvantaged children all over the world. And so in January we held a workshop with 18 child slaves in Haiti. And so we went down there with a bunch of cameras and a couple of assignments, and we spent a week there with the children teaching them the basics of photography techniques along with telling a bigger story.
Wow. So, okay, so we have some here that are taken by the kids, and it's really, amazing. We were looking at them and we thought they were great, anyway, and then when we found out they were just taken by kids, many of whom have never even held a camera or taken a photograph at all. It was really quite incredible. So tell me about the kind of cameras that they use. What did you bring down there?
We bought basic point and click cameras. With Haiti there's electricity issues, so we wanted to make sure that we brought cameras down that use AA batteries. And the problem with a lot of point and click cameras is that they don't have an optical viewfinder. And I wanted to teach these kids what photography means when you hold the camera up to your eye as opposed to holding it away from you. You take a different picture that way. And I wanted the kids to learn the traditional way.
Right. When you gave them these cameras, I remember reading something on your website about how the boys were a little bit more adept at putting it together, turning it on, getting it all to work, and the girls had a little bit of a harder time, which was hysterical.
And universal, it seems.
Yeah. Did you give them any kind of direction, or I think you mentioned you had assignments. Did you just give them the camera and let them go, or did you say, this is how you frame a photograph to take a better picture? How much direction was there?
Each assignment was for one day, and there was different techniques that we wanted them to learn with each assignment. So the first day we had something called patterns and shadows, which they basically just learned the basics of the camera, of zooming and cropping. And it was really great because it started training their eye to look at their campus a little bit differently. So there's a few pictures that they took that were just gorgeous of the different shadows that were all over their campus and the different patterns that their new school building had. So from the end of the day, that assignment, they said that they had a new appreciation for their school because they never saw how beautiful it was.
Wow.
So, and then the next day we had an assignment called portraits, where they had to take a picture of someone, but within the framing of the picture, tell us who this person is, what this person does. So that was another lesson they learned about framing and not just focusing in on one little aspect of a person. And then the last assignment we did was called Best Part of Me, which taught the kids how to take a self-portrait, which is really difficult for a photographer. And the way we did that was we wanted the kids to find a feature of themselves that they thought was unique or their favorite part of themselves and figure out a way to photograph it. And it was funny because, the younger kids just gleefully started taking pictures of themselves. The older boys were taking macho pictures of themselves. And then the girls would take a picture of themselves, look at it, hate it, and then delete it. So
doesn't matter where you are.
No, I didn't expect that outcome, and so I taught them that if you focus in on one little aspect as opposed to taking a bigger picture of themselves, they would gain a new appreciation. And one girl at the end of the session said that her favorite picture from the whole week was the picture she took of herself because she saw how beautiful she really was.
So great.
Yeah.
So great. So, I have to ask, why photography? I know you're a photographer and the obvious part of it, but what do you think photography teaches or gives to these kids versus some other art form?
So, as a photographer, I know that things just look different through the lens of a camera. You're focused in on one particular part of the world as opposed to the whole view. And so I know that these kids who have never been exposed to photography would just see things differently and appreciate things differently. So I wanted to give them a chance to explore that part of their creativity.
Right. And so once they were done with all the assignments and they were done taking pictures, did you look at the photos with them? Did you talk about it? What did you talk about?
Yeah, at the end of every session, actually, we would have a little Q&A kind of thing of what their favorite picture was from that day, why, what it meant. And then even at the end of the week, we talked about the whole week in general. And we had brought down equipment, printer, paper, ink, and so we actually printed out some of their favorite pictures, some of our favorite pictures of the kids took, and we had a gallery show at the school. Yeah, and so we had about 150 pictures up, and we invited the kids, obviously, the school, the community, and it was just overwhelming to see this response and have a gallery show of these photographers' work.
Wow, I imagine that would give them such a sense of pride too, and like ownership of their work. That's really awesome.
Oh yeah, we actually had, I mistakenly had actually put the wrong girl's name on one of the photographs, and she came right up to me and said, "Excuse me, that is my picture." So every photographer knows their pictures, and this girl clearly did.
Oh, that's really great. So we see some prints here. I know on your website you're actually selling these prints. Tell me about how that works and what you do with the money from that.
So with the sale of the pictures, we are supporting the photography club that we created in Haiti. Since we left all the equipment behind, all the cameras, batteries, paper, ink, everything, we want to continue to have these kids grow their photography education, because we didn't want it just to be a treat for a week and then snatch it away. So through the sale of pictures, we're supporting that photography club and our next workshop, which is going to be in Nairobi, Kenya.
Wow. So why Kenya? What makes you choose the locations that you choose?
So we are very aware of who we partner with, and we want to go with organizations that support disadvantaged children. And so we're partnering with an organization that builds schools in the slums of Nairobi. And we also want to make sure that there's an infrastructure in place that would support a photography education after we're gone. So there's some organizations that wouldn't be able to do that for various reasons, but this one in Kenya really spoke to us because they are able to do that, and we want to support their human rights curriculum that they're establishing within these children that live in the slums.
Oh, that's really great. So what would you say is the overall, goal with this whole workshop? What do you want the kids to be able to take away from it? What kind of difference do you want to make in the places that you visit?
So these kids, through photography, have started gaining a sense of self-confidence and leadership through leading leaders of the photography club that we established. So through that, we want these kids to see that they have different opportunities in life, that things that are not so obvious to them from before are now open to them. And it was really sweet during Haiti, halfway through the week, a kid came up to us and said that he wanted to do what we do. He wanted to be a photographer when he grew up.
That's really great.
Yeah, so that was not a possibility for him from before because he just was never exposed to photography.
That's really great. All right, so I really want to thank you for coming in and for talking with us. There is a way for people to donate to this workshop. Can you tell us a little about how we can do that?
Yes, right on our website, viewfinderworkshop.org. There's a big donate button, so people can donate, and we have a price list, so you can see how much a memory card versus a camera would cost, and you can donate at will.
That's great. That's great. So you can find Babita at snackedbyaspicyindian.com, which is an awesome URL, or at viewfinderworkshop.org. You can learn about the project. You can donate. Babita, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us.
Thank you.